Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2. We are thrilled to welcome you to our bonus episode of the Friday Fix. In our bonus episode, we will be discussing a business-related subject with either one of our wonderful In Business networking members or a fellow business owner who will be sharing their advice, thoughts or knowledge on a particular topic.
We're your hosts, Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd love to meet you, so why not come along? The link to book is in the show notes. Our guest today is Mike Roberts, and since 2014 Mike has run several companies using the power of LinkedIn, social media, landing pages, member vault and marketing funnels. He's learnt every secret corner and algorithm buster over the years. Welcome to our Friday Fix episode. Today we have with us Mike Roberts of Making Digital Real. Welcome, Mike.
Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
Good to have you with us today.
I meant to ask you, have you done any podcasts before?
I've done a few, and I'm getting less and less nervous with each one, so I'm feeling good this morning.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's what we like to hear. What we like to hear. Yeah. So let's start things off then by. So, Mike, what is it that you do? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so what I do is a little bit different to what other, let's call them LinkedIn trainers do, so to speak. I run a business which is software. So I provide software solutions to businesses all over Europe. But I built that business purely on the LinkedIn platform. And what I've been doing for the last 10 years is understanding what makes salespeople different and how people can use digital platforms like never before. So over the last 5 years, let's say, I've been helping friends and family use LinkedIn, digital platforms, social media to generate business and create a personal brand. One thing led to another. People started saying to me, you should really turn this into a business. And that's why Making Digital Real was born. I'm now just showing people how I do things on LinkedIn, and very, very separate to a LinkedIn trainer. It's more about hands-on approach, and in a 90-minute session, I'm going to give you 10 years worth of experience and just absolutely give you every single tip, trick, and strategy that you can take away with and start using tomorrow. And I really enjoy it. It's just great fun.
Right.
I know I'd seen you on an FSB meeting a while ago, and I think you had a 10-minute slot. And honestly, you rattle through so many points and so many things that you can do on LinkedIn, and so many ideas for changing your profile and what you could do better. In 10 minutes, it was just absolutely jam-packed. So we're looking forward to hearing some more tips today and things.
What is it, Mike, that you think that people most struggle with then? What is it that you think, what's the biggest, I don't know, what do you get asked about the most, if you like? Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm 40 now. 20 years ago, I started my sales career by being a salesperson. And I just don't see people using any different tools than they were 20 years ago. I speak to so many people who are still being told by their sales managers to pick up the phone, make as many calls as you can and all of this stuff. And yes, people flocked to LinkedIn during lockdown and things like that. It's now what I call overpopulated. There is so much digital pollution on LinkedIn. But nobody's been trained properly on how to use it. They're still basically turning what was a really garbage sales pitch, which was a stranger's voice on the end of the phone on a cold call. And all they've done is taken that, turned it into black text on a white background, and replicated it on LinkedIn. There's been no skills generated throughout that transition. And people are still selling the same way that they did 20 years ago, but this time taking longer to do it by typing it out rather than speaking down the phone.
Yeah, you're probably right there, yeah.
Yeah. So you look at rehumanizing your business, don't you?
I do.
Rehumanizing that sales process.
Yeah. So I know your listeners can't see me at the moment on the video, but what I'm holding up is basically a little whiteboard that says "Hi George" on it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this is such an easy thing to do, but nobody's doing it. And video messaging now has become so easy. And I talk to people about rehumanizing your business. So if I want to get in front of a managing partner of, X law firm in the center of London, never in a million years would I have been able to get that decision maker on the end of a phone. Neither will I get them on a terrible cold email marketing. But what I'm going to do is I'm sitting in front of my computer most days now. I've got my webcam staring straight at me. So I'm going to use my little whiteboard and I'm going to record a 60-second video message. And the reason why I've got a whiteboard with his name on it is because when I turn that video into a message, a link, the first few seconds of that video comes up as an animated GIF in his LinkedIn inbox or his email, let's say. He now knows that that video's for him, so curiosity is going to get the better. He's going to play that 60-second video. Chances are he's playing that video in the comfort in his own space, in his own time, that's right for him.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, I have entered this person's office, and that's what I call rehumanizing the business. I've met with the guy or girl. He or she has heard my passion for what I do. They can hear me. They can see me. Suddenly, with that one reply that I get from this person, I'm 80 to 90% the way with my sales journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody's doing this. And this has been around for quite a few years now. And I just say to people, this is probably going to be the norm in the next 5 to 10 years. So why don't you just do it now before everybody else is doing it? Because when everybody else is doing this, I guarantee you there will be the next best thing coming up after that.
Yeah.
And I think my trick and the reason why I've been so successful in sales for the last 20 years is because I've always done things that nobody else is yet doing. And I just love helping other people understand that and showing them the tools how to do it.
Yeah. So you say then a quick 60-second video is really powerful then, isn't it? Is what you're saying. It's far more powerful than a typed out "Hi George, can we connect?" or whatever. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So if I look at my world, so I sell eSignatures, which is getting documents signed electronically, and email encryption. So I've got huge, giant competitors in my world. So I've got DocuSign, I've got Adobe, I've got Egress, I've got all these giant multi-billion-dollar companies.
Mm-hmm.
If I just do exactly the same as them, I'm never ever going to, make a name for myself. So when I started this journey on the software, I thought to myself, why bother spending on marketing budgets when I've got people who are spending millions and millions of dollars? So I thought, what's the one thing that I can offer that none of them can? And I thought, Mike Roberts, the personal branding touch. And where better to get some personal branding expertise out there than social media? So suddenly, I got onto LinkedIn. I realized everything that I was doing wrong, started putting things together which were right. And I started thinking to myself, hang on a minute. People aren't buying from the brand or the company. They're buying from Mike Roberts. So I just kept that going. And I think the days of the corporates is on its way out. I think the corporates really won and they dominated everything during the 90s and the noughties. But over the last 10 years, I think the time has now come for small business owners and entrepreneurs to really make a name for themselves. Because when I'm looking on, let's say, social media or a digital platform, and I see posts from corporate entities and logos, doesn't interest me. But when I see it from people, and it's all about people nowadays, that's what excites me. And I'm thinking, I would rather do business with this person rather than this corporate logo.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Which is why now I think it's the best time ever to either start a business or really rethink everything about what you're doing in your career, because these opportunities that we've got right in front of us, like the webcam, the video messaging, the social media, we've never had that before in our generations. So I think it's such an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the lockdown exacerbated that, didn't it? Not exacerbated.
I think it brought things forward, didn't it? I
Yes.
think it jump-started
Expedited
everybody
it.
10 years. I think we're sort of maybe 5-10 years further on than we would have been if there had been no COVID and people hadn't been locked down and things like that. I think the people have jumped on LinkedIn and all the other platforms, I think, like you rightly said. And it's like online Zoom and all that stuff, networking online and everything else.
Yeah.
2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, it wasn't really heard of. I hadn't heard of it, but now every man and his dog's doing it. So there's all sorts out there now.
The opportunities are endless, aren't they?
Yeah. It opens your eyes, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Really,
yeah. It's just taking advantage of them and using them to the best. Like you're saying about these personal videos, would you put text, subtitles on those videos, or would you just do them as
Just do them as
videos?
normal.
Yeah, you don't put the subtitles.
I don't put the subtitles on, but what I have noticed recently is, let's take LinkedIn Live, for example. So one of LinkedIn's features is called LinkedIn Live. All you need is a broadcasting tool, which you can get instantly from places like StreamYard or Vidyard or whatever it might be. And you can broadcast yourself using your personal branding, talking about your products and services without spending a penny. And LinkedIn actually does the subtitles now for you as well. So it's just only a matter of time before they become standard on most videos that you record. So again, it's less work for you to do, but more benefits. And landing pages, are so easy to access now more than ever. So I use something called Member Vault, which
I've heard of
We've
that.
heard of that, yeah.
And Member Vault's amazing. When I first created Making Digital Real, I thought to myself, okay, what will it take to set up my own business? And I quickly realized all I needed was a great landing page, somewhere to throw my products or services, integrate it with something like Stripe so I can take card payments, and suddenly, along with an email marketing tool, you've got everything all under one roof. And these are the things that, only people dreamt of, 5 to 10 years ago, when they thought, I haven't got a clue about how to do any of this. But now it's in the mainstream, and you even see things like MailChimp marketing adverts on mainstream TV now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah, I've even seen one for LinkedIn, actually.
Yeah.
So just having a bit of a marketing understanding, knowing how to work the whole GDPR, cutting through that business pollution, the digital pollution out there. Everybody's on LinkedIn. Why don't we just work on becoming that top 5% and being superstars on there? It's not easy to do once you know how, because my live events are only 90 minutes long. And I think I counted about 113 tips, tricks, and strategies on the last one that I did. So I absolutely go through them as fast as possible so people can just literally walk away thinking, wow, everything on that list I can put into practice tomorrow morning, and it's not going to cost me any more money. And now I know exactly why people do it this way, because it brings these results.
Do you have any favorite? I mean, you've got lots of tips, obviously. Do you have any particular favorites that you think, whoa, this is brilliant? I've found this out, and you can do that. Do you have anything that's really mind blowing that makes a difference? Or is it a secret?
No secrets whatsoever. I'll think of some of the best ones that I get the best feedback from. So the first thing that I always talk about with clients, and I only spend a minute or two on this, is the banner. So behind your profile photo on your LinkedIn page is the banner. It's the big area which your audience sees as soon as they land on your page. It's the first thing they see. Put a personalized banner in there. Avoid your pretty pictures of beaches and sunsets and things like that, because it's a waste of opportunity. Just put those 3 magic ingredients in your banner. I need to know exactly in under 7 seconds what problem it is you solve for your clients. When I see this, I now know who you are and what it is you do. I need to see that in text, in typography, and something as a visual representation. So for me, example, somebody signing a document on an iPad, let's say. And then I also need to see your corporate colors, your branding, your personal branding, whatever it might be, because that's now the start of this journey, and that's going to keep me on your page, and we're going to have that uniformed throughout the whole journey that you take me on. And when I talk about journeys, I talk about, think of it as a family tree. So on LinkedIn, you've got your personal page at the top. You'll always have one personal page. There's only one of you, so there'll always be that one page. Underneath that, you've got your company pages. You might have more than one company, so you can have as many of those as you like. Underneath your company pages, you've now got showcase pages, which means that you can have a dedicated page on LinkedIn for your product, your service, an event that you're hosting, a book that you're launching. It doesn't matter. You can create a page for it. And when you get all of these things right, you suddenly realize your LinkedIn page is now becoming a sales and marketing funnel. So that the banner on my company page isn't just a bland banner that tells me this is the company, this is how long we've been established, this is how many employees we've got. Throw all that back out. Think of it as a sales and marketing funnel now. So when I land on your company page, what am I going to see in that banner that makes me want to click on that blue customizable button? You know, if, for example, I've got an event coming up and I do 6 a year. So on my event in March the 17th, on my banner, it states, find out the 113 reasons and tips and tricks and strategies that only the most successful LinkedIn users know. And that's going to make people click on my blue customizable button because they're intrigued, they want to know more, and I'm now taking them to an external landing page somewhere. But if I said in that banner, come and join us on March the 17th, and I listed out everything that they were going to learn, it's game over. They could just go away and YouTube that or Google it somewhere or find a YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
So the less you tell them what you're going to talk about and just turn it into that magic number and make it something like, if you click on the button below and come and join my event, you ain't going to find any of these tips and tricks anywhere else. But you'd just be surprised at just how many people get it wrong. They don't use these tools. They list everything that they're going to do for their customer. Well, if you give me a list, I'll find it elsewhere. And it's just these tiny little changes and little ways to make it different that suddenly puts you right at the front of the game and leaves everybody else standing in the back.
Right.
And would you recommend in that instance then changing your banner on a regular basis if you've got different events or different books or whatever to promote?
Yeah, the banner on the company page, yeah. If it's about an event, then obviously that can be changed from time to time. The banner on my personal page has never changed since because it states this one thing. Mike Roberts solves this problem for these types of customers. That's all they need to know. You know, you've also got your headline, which most people put in their job title, marketing manager at XYZ Solicitors or whatever it might be. Again, it's a headline that isn't for your job title. And the reason why it's not is because LinkedIn have given you 240 characters to play with here. So put more than your job title in there. Think of it as your lead magnet. People are going to be searching for keywords that you do outside and inside of LinkedIn. Your headline is one of the biggest lead magnets that's going to help you get found. When I read your headline on your LinkedIn profile, a psychological trigger needs to be generated here, and I almost need to be picturing you sorting that problem out for me as I'm reading the headline. You're almost giving me a demonstration as I'm reading it. So it might say something like, if I could show you how to send any email encrypted and attach any document for an e-signature without leaving Outlook, would you be interested? So as I'm reading that, I'm picturing it work for me. And it's also got all those keywords in there, such as Outlook, emails, e-signatures, and encryption. And that's why when people search for these things, I'm usually at the top of the search results.
Oh, right. Interesting. Right. Gosh, I mean, some of these things you say, once you know, you think, oh, God, yeah, that's
It's one of those blindingly obvious
yeah,
moments.
You think, oh, yeah, you should be doing that. But how many times do we not do blindingly obvious things? I don't. I always go the long way around anything. Yeah. So,
it's not until somebody points it out, you think, oh,
yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. And that's why you're an expert, Mike, obviously.
I've got another one for you as well that I quite like. So on your LinkedIn profile, there's something called the About section, which most people fall into the trap every single time of talking about themselves. Now, I could literally go and look on 10 LinkedIn profiles right now at random, and I guarantee you more than half of them will have every single sentence starting with I. I do this, I'm that, I do this, I'm this, I. And it's just blindingly obvious when you see it after a certain amount of time. So what I say to people is, stop talking about you, talk about your client. You know, clients have been working with us for the last 3 years because they're frustrated with this. They sometimes find that this caused them a bit of anxiety and they're looking to improve X, Y, Z. Again, psychologically, as I'm reading that, I'm thinking this person knows my world. And the other thing with your about section is, in the very first sentence, just make sure you put the year that we're in. So 2022, for example. So your first sentence might start with, throughout 2022, the clients that I'm working with are looking to get better at this, let's say. And again, when I see that, I'm now confident instantly that this is a relevant, up-to-date profile that hasn't, it's not something that was created 6 years ago and never touched since. So it's all these tiny little things that you don't realize happening, but it is. And it's just so great once you get them all in place and suddenly you see your analytics improve.
Yeah. I suppose, like you say, a lot of it is, there is a psychological element to it, there isn't there really? I suppose as you're reading things, you're thinking things, and like you said, sort of more or less tell the story of what you're doing, aren't you? So you're building a picture, aren't you, in someone's head, which is what I like. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. Cool. Anything else? Have you got one more? We'll be greedy. Have you got one more for us, Mike? Obviously, don't give all your main secrets away. Save that for when people book on in your March, whatever. But
yeah, no. So how about this then? So let's just say, you've listened to everything that I've said with regards to your profile, and we've gone through all of those different procedures, and you've got the profile, the best of the best. It looks amazing. That's only half of the job done now. Because remember, what we want to do is we want to get content out there that's going to be seen by people. Because there's no point in putting great content out there if your profile's not great. But let's just say the profile is great. Now we need to understand the algorithm. The algorithm is this huge beast in the background that either stops your content from going in front of people's eyes or pushes it out. And you obviously want to get the algorithm on your side, pushing your content out to more people. And there are around 12 to 14 things that you have to know about the algorithm. I'll give you some obvious ones. So first of all, if you do a post on LinkedIn and you include an email address or an external link or a YouTube video, for example, you might as well consider it game over. That's one of the things that the algorithm hates, because as soon as somebody clicks on that, you've taken them away from LinkedIn to somewhere else.
Right.
So always put any external links in the comments after you've posted. The second one is hashtags. People think if I flood my post with hashtags, the algorithm's going to send it out to more people. And the answer is no way. Loads of hashtags belong on Facebook and Instagram. If you're going to do hashtags on LinkedIn, stick to the power of 5. Never go over 5 hashtags. 5 to 10 is okay. Any more than 10 is an instant, pretty much a block. And when you are using hashtags, do a bit of research first. Find the ones that have millions of followers. So on my website, every week I update the top 100 LinkedIn hashtags. So you've got things like business, success, healthcare, innovation, data. These are all the ones with millions and millions of followers. If you use one such as I love my job hashtag or something like that, and it's got 4 or 5 followers, the algorithm will see that and it'll say, well, if only 4 or 5 of our 750 million users are interested in that hashtag, why would we be interested in putting it out?
Yeah.
So do that. And I suppose the other one that I quite like is always think about your first 4 lines of your post, because that's the only thing that your audience will see when it appears in their timeline. So the shorter and more captivating you can make it, the more chance they have of clicking on that little see more link, which means that the post will then be opened up so they can read the rest. And the algorithm sees that click. Every time somebody clicks on see more, the algorithm sees that and thinks, oh, somebody's interested. In that case, let's throw it out to more people. So an ideal post on LinkedIn has the snowball effect of, you post it, 10 minutes later, let's say you're on 50 to 100 views. That's where you need to be. Half an hour later, you need to be on a couple of hundred views. By the end of the 2 hours, I would say around 500 views. And if you can get that going in the first 2 hours, guaranteed success. You'll be on 5,000 or 6,000 by the end of the day.
I think one of my posts had 2,500 the other day, which I was quite pleased with.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's not bad.
I think, do you know what I find strange sometimes? You put things out there, they think, well, this is going to be interesting and valuable and useful, and zip, educational, Zippo. You
Just
put something
bombs.
about, what did I put on that? About,
do you put your milk in your tea?
yeah,
first
do you put
or
your milk in
something?
your tea? And I just something stupid. I just, I know it's not really LinkedIn, but I just put it out there. Do you put your milk in your tea first? Or, and God, I must have got, I don't know how many thousands I got. I got loads of comments. And I'm thinking, how does this work? I just put something up that I thought, well, nobody will read this or nobody will bother. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, everyone's looking at it. But the ones that I perceive to be valuable and interesting, little or no
Obviously not
engagement.
got the right hashtags then, have you?
Obviously not. No, obviously.
That's just it. There's a fine line in between being quirky and being business orientated.
Yeah.
And if you can get a little mixture of both, so it's not just a blatant sales pitch or an advert. And yes, these funny ones like the T1 do well, because most likely you got a couple of people in your inner circle and contacts message engaging with it. So the algorithm doesn't care really. All it cares about now at this stage is, well, you've had quite a number of people engage, so in that case we need to push this out more. But if you can mix that with something that's going to generate business for you and provide good advice or business advice, then you're onto a winner. And that's just how I generate my business every day. So I don't do any outbound sales contacts. I never connect with people and then do the Insta pitch. My business that's generated from LinkedIn comes from the content that I do. So they come to me after seeing my content in their timeline.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you not recommend? I mean, what's your thoughts on this connecting thing? I mean, I know some people see it as a badge of honor if they've got 5,000, 10,000 connections. Personally, I'm not too sure about that. I think I've only got, I think I'm struggling at 1,500 or something. But is it quality over quantity, or is it? What's your thoughts on that?
It used to be. So up until about 6 months ago or a year ago, LinkedIn was all about collecting connections. I'm connecting with this random stranger to build up my numbers, and we'll probably never ever exchange any messages, but at least that's one more connection on my number. And the good news is LinkedIn have moved away from this now. So what they've done is they've created something called creator mode. Most people are now turning their creator mode on. And what that means is, if you've got your creator mode on, when I land on your profile, that big blue button that says connect will now say follow, because it's all about followers now, not just random connections. And also, if I see, when you turn your creator mode on, the number of followers that you have is now visible to all of your connections. So you'll see that this person has 8,329 followers, for example, because that's what they're trying to move towards. Just like Facebook, just like Instagram, by following someone just means that I'm interested in what they're discussing and I'm happy to see their content appear in my timeline. So it used to be quantity over quality, but the good news is now it's changing for the better.
Right. Yeah. I think I clicked mine over to creator mode just before Christmas or whenever it was. And suddenly I'm thinking, oh, nobody's connecting with me anymore, but they're not. I think I am getting followers as opposed to connections.
Yeah, because the follow button is there for them to click on, not the connect button anymore. They can still connect with you, but it's just 2 extra mouse clicks. They have to click on more and then find the connect button.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was pretty good. That's some good stuff in there, Mike.
Yes.
I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you say you've got some event. You say you've got. You might as well tell us about your event. You say you got a couple of events coming up or something in the not too distant future.
Yeah. So 6 times a year, I do a live event, which is called Making Digital Real with LinkedIn. It's a really good, fun 90-minute live event that is co-hosted by my good friend Victoria Prince. And what we do is we have a really nice, engaging forum. It's on Zoom. So it's not a webinar where you can't see the other people and all you can hear is me talking and sharing my screen. We're all as this big group, and I just go through every single tip, trick and strategy of LinkedIn. And then there's plenty of time for Q&A every 10 minutes, and we share ideas. We put our details in the chat, so it's a little bit of a networking opportunity as well. And it's just good fun. I started doing those about a year ago, and they just keep growing in numbers every single time. So the next one is on the 17th, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay.
17th.
And is there a charge for that?
Yeah, it's £97 per ticket. And for that, you also get the 100-page ebook that I've written. So you get everything in the ebook, and you get a copy of the recording afterwards. And you also can have access to any of my future live events in this year as well. So you can come along to any of the others later in the year.
Oh, sounds
cool.
an excellent
Okay,
deal.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Mention that in the show notes, yeah.
Definitely.
We've got a link for that, I assume. Have we got a link for your show? Yeah, we've got good.
Yeah. So I mean, if people do want to connect with you, I assume it's through LinkedIn.
Yeah, is that the best way? Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't say telephone.
Yeah, you'll find me on there, and I come up as Mike Roberts, eSignatures Made Easy. And that's another tip that I give to people. So instead of just putting in your first name and then your last name, so Mike Roberts, with your second name, do a little dash after your last name and then 2 or 3 magic buzz keywords that best describe you. Because when you come up in search results, remember, you're going to come up in a whole list of names. And if people can see what you do just from your name alone, they're more likely to click on you. So all these little hidden areas that are available to use.
Yeah.
Cool. Some great stuff.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time today. It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you for joining us today.
It's been good.
We've learned a few things, I'm sure.
Yes, I shall be nipping back to my screen very shortly and having a look at what I can do to improve it.
No, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. So thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Mike.
Thanks very much.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're almost at the end of this week's show, but just as a reminder before we go, don't forget to book your place at one of our networking events, where you can meet some great business owners and build those business relationships. The best business comes from the best relationships, and the link is in the show notes.
We'd also like to mention our books, which are available on Amazon. How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills, 52 Tips to Help You with Your Networking. We've also got our Notably Networking, a one-to-one networking notebook, a place to keep all your notes from those follow-up one-to-ones. And last but not least, our 90 Days to Your Success journal, where you can plan, set and plot the actions you will take to achieve your goals.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks to Friday Fix. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show, and please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it.
So until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business. Goodbye.
Goodbye.